You seem lukewarm on this stock. It's at 201 now, and your price target's 185. What are you expecting this afternoon, and what do you see in the short to medium term for this company?
Well, Tyler, I do think the stock's gotten ahead of itself. It is up 40% off the lows, but it's not back near its highs, and we think it's going to have some upside resistance. The things I would watch for would be China. We want to see how much that bounces back after the mess last quarter. They've cut prices there. How much impact did they have in terms of market share gain? Services, we're looking for 17% growth, and the App Store looks like it slowed to maybe 15% last quarter, so we're watching for that. And finally, capital return. We're looking for about a 10 to 12% dividend hike and something over a $50 billion buyback. So it is becoming more of a capital return story, which I don't think is enough to get the stock higher from here.
You know, Steve Kovach, the stock has come back a good bit from that point, but not as much as hasn't gone back to its highs, as Steve Milunovich just pointed out. But there are a lot of unanswered questions here, including what's going to happen with this TV service and what are they going to charge for it?
Exactly. That's the fascinating thing that's happened with Apple over the last 3 or 4 months. They announced all these services, but didn't give a price for them. We don't know how much that TV service is going to cost. We don't know how much the video gaming service is going to cost. And people are still betting that they're going to be able to squeeze just a little bit, a few pennies out of every other iPhone that's out there. There are a billion iPhones out there on the planet, and investors are betting right now they're going to be able to squeeze more cash out of each one of those. One
of the things, Steve Milunovich, that leaps out at me is the slowing rate at which people are replacing their phones.
Absolutely. And although some analysts are arguing we're kind of at the limit of that, nearing 4 years, I don't think we're quite there yet. We have some survey data which suggests that the people who bought an iPhone this last quarter had held their previous phone, 26% had held their previous phone for over 3 years. That compares to like 16% a year ago. So, you know, if you're spending $1,000 on a phone, you're probably going to hold that phone for 3.5 years. So I don't think we're quite at the limit yet, and that reduces your iPhone shipments.
Steve Milunovich, I'm curious to hear a little bit more. You mentioned the App Store might be decelerating, and Josh Lipton also said this, that maybe people are looking for the services business to actually decelerate for the next couple of quarters. Why would that be?
Well, the App Store is the biggest part. And on the last call, IBM said the biggest part of our services business was less than 30%. And if you do the numbers, we think that means the App Store slowed to 15, 16% growth. A lot of that's gaining in China. So some of that we do expect to come back as more games are approved. But nevertheless, you know, media is going to help as we begin to add that later this year. But I don't see a deceleration down to, say, 12%. I do think you're going to see some pressure on that number. Some people are worried that the Netflixes and others are going around Apple. I'm not overly concerned about that at this time, but I do think we're going to see numbers in the mid to upper teens.
Steve, you want to add anything to that?
He just mentioned gaming. I thought that's really important. This arcade service, while we don't know all the details about the launch and the pricing of it, it does sound super compelling. Apple is wrapping up tons of deals exclusively that will be on the iPhone only. And so that means they'll be able to have those exclusive titles. You pay $10 a month or whatever it might be, and you get...
But is that enough to... It's a little bit of the Tesla thing, right? Where it's like, don't look at our slowing sales now. Look at the new stuff that we have coming.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is a problem for them, too. It's the App Store is slowing, so they're really trying to goose things. If you go in the App Store right now today, Kelly, you'll see they have a subscription section specifically for it saying, subscribe to our favorite apps. That's recurring revenue within the App Store. They're figuring out little levers they can pull to really tweak that and gain revenue inside the App Store still.